Good evening, everyone. Hopefully we're going to have a fun evening, and we have, as Richard said, we have plenty of questions. We have about 5 questions for the Highland Village Council, about 5 questions for LASD, and about 500 questions for Mound. So, I'm going to try to get through as many as possible. All right, so we're going to begin with Highland Village, and see that Jim Archibald isn't going to be here, your opponent, but so we'll begin with the opening remarks from Mayor Charlotte Wilcox. You would,
Am I turned on? Now, can you hear me? Perfect. Okay. Well, good evening and welcome to Highland Village. What a perfect thing for me to be able to say to you. Before I begin, I want to thank the Flower Mound Area Republican Club and the Nine Social for hosting, and Bob Weir for moderating. So, as anybody knows me, they know I do not like to talk about myself. This is the hardest part for me. I was born in Dallas, Texas on March 2nd, 1920, and on Texas Independence Day. That's extremely important. I am a native Texan. My husband, Terry, is a lifelong resident of Louisville. I feel like this is like I'm eating this. Is it too loud?
Yep.
Okay. Is this better?
No.
Okay. There we go. I had it like this. Okay. So my husband is a lifelong resident of Louisville until I moved him to Highland Village in 1995. We've been married for 36 years and have 2 amazing children. Tiffany Wilcox McWilliams, my son Travis Wilcox, and we have a wonderful son-in-law, Jonathan McWilliams. Everybody that knows me knows I have 2 perfect, absolutely adorable grand angels, Addison McWilliams and Grayson McWilliams, and grandchildren are the reward for all of us surviving parenthood. I assure you. Yes. Amen. Terry and I moved to Highland Village in 1995, and we still live in the same house. My parents moved from my hometown of Bowie, Texas in 2003. So you can all see that we saw a great thing when we found Highland Village. Terry and I are owners of Wilcox Pest Control. He's a retired Louisville firefighter. I'm a licensed real estate agent with Remax Cross Country, and he now has bees, B-E-E-S, bees. So if you ever need any honey, just give me a call. I am on 407 with Remax Cross Country in Highland Village, of course. My involvement in Highland Village government began in 2006 when I was on planning. Oh, thank you all. Why can't be right there? Go to the back of the room.
Thank you, Charlotte Wilcox. And for place 4 on the Highland Village Council, we have 3 candidates, beginning with Dan Jaworski. Your 2-minute opening, please.
Thank you, Mr. Weir, for moderating. Thank you to the Flower Mound Area Republicans and Nine Social for hosting this very important event tonight. My name is Dan Jaworski, and I'm running for place 4 for Highland Village City Council. During my early childhood, I was raised by a single mom who worked 2 and sometimes 3 jobs while shuffling me off between daycare centers and my grandparents. Eventually, she married a man who adopted me, and in 1978, we moved from Central Georgia to Highland Village. Moving to Highland Village truly changed the trajectory of my life. The values that this community represents are values that have carried me through life, and are the values that I've tried to instill in my kids. They mean so much to me and my wife Gretchen that when we decided to make Highland Village a place to raise our own children, my family has been a part of Highland Village for the better part of 40 years. I grew up at the corner of Brazo and Medina, and when we first moved here, when you looked out our door, everything was nothing but pasture. Public service is something that I believe in deeply. When Gretchen and I moved back to Highland Village, I immediately looked for opportunities to serve. I served 1 year on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and I've served 2 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Additionally, I've served as Vice Chairman for the City's Fire Department Service Level Task Force, and I've coached flag football for 4 years in a league right in Highland Village. A great benefit of serving on the task force has been a deep education into the finances, capital needs, and challenges that our city faces today and will face in the future. The bottom line is that I can take a seat on the council tomorrow, ready to serve and ready to make an impactful contribution, something unique to me in this race. I think everybody needs to know what I believe in philosophically and politically. I believe in keeping taxes low, ensuring that our city services are never compromised, and that our citizens are receiving the level of service that they've grown accustomed to. I don't believe in any state, or in any city where we regulate and police every activity one can imagine. In short, I'm a conservative fiscally, socially, and morally. That's what Highland Village values taught me, and it's what I will bring to the City Council.
Thank you, Mr. Jaworski. Next person for place 4 is Barbara Fleming. For her opening 2-minute statement, please. And I know she has a touch of laryngitis, so she has someone speaking for her.
Yes, hi, I'm Diane Ashmore, and I've been a resident out here for 40 years. And I'm privileged tonight to be able to speak for Barbara, who can. Barbara Fleming, running for place 4, is a native Texan from Midland, Texas. She graduated from Midland High School and Sul Ross University. She obtained her Mrs. degree and married Coach Tommy Shields. He coached at LHS in the Paul Rice era. They had 2 children, Susie and Brad Shields, and Barbara was a single parent for 12 years, taking her children from first grade through graduation. Both Susie and Brad graduated from LHS. Susie and her family live in Highland Village and recently retired for the LISD as a choir director. Lieutenant Colonel Bradley Shields served in the U.S. Army, and he passed away in 2013 with brain cancer. Barbara and Jim were married in 1979. He's a retired deputy chief of the Mesquite Fire Department, holding a peace officer certificate. His military career was in the Navy. He was aboard the last wooden deck aircraft carrier, the USS Shangri-La. Barbara and Jim purchased their home at 101 Lake Vista West shortly after marrying, and they've been homeowners here for 37 years. Real estate is her background, and she feels it's important for all candidates to be homeowners in their respective cities. They're both retired and enjoy the outdoors. Professionally, Barbara is quite accomplished. I said that. She's a Texas real estate broker license and obtained her sales license in 1976. She worked in both sales and management and has been active in many of the local and state levels. A few of her achievements: 2 different times as president of the local board of realtors, 2 terms as vice president of the region, and she was the first executive of the Texas Real Estate Political Action Committee. Thank you very much. There's much more to tell you.
Thank you. And the third candidate for place 4 is Richard A. Rieger. Your 2-minute opening, please.
My name is Richard A. Rieger, and I'd like to let everybody know that I'm not a politician, and I'm happy to be in front of this large crowd. We've been living in Highland Village since 1979. That was before roads and stores. My background basically is 31 years in the corporate world. I managed many operations for the General Electric Company. I don't have a prepared statement. I approach every problem or every question with deep thought and analytical approach. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rieger. I will now begin with the questions, and each candidate has 1 minute to answer. So we'll begin with Charlotte Wilcox. The question is, FM 2499, Village Parkway, has speed limits lower than TxDOT recommendations. Should these speed limits be raised?
Absolutely not. When 2499 went through, I was actually on either planning and zoning or first elected to council. And even though it's a thoroughfare, we do not want the speed limit to be any higher than what it is right now for safety's sake, because our city, part of our city is on the other side, on the west side of 2499. So when you're traveling from Highland Village, from 407 to north, we want to keep it at 40 miles an hour.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Jaworski.
I know that when speed limits are set, there's a lot of research that goes into what is a good, safe speed limit for a road. So I'm going to yield to TxDOT's judgment and say that if the speed limit, whatever it is, I agree with it, 45 miles an hour, I think it should remain that way. I'll back that up by saying, the intersection, entering the shops off of 2499, where all the yellow pylons, I guess you call them, are sticking up. But while they are going to put a traffic light there at some point, that is a very dangerous intersection, I think we can all agree. So, you know, 2499, you drive through there now, while the speed limit's 45, I know people do a lot more than that. It's almost like a small racetrack. So I think it needs to be 45 miles an hour and they need to be enforced.
Thank you, Mr. Jaworski. Same question, Barbara Fleming.
Barbara agrees with that. She agrees that with Charlotte that residents on both sides of that road would be unsafe to increase the speed limit.
Thank you. Same question, Richard Riga.
The speed limit should remain the same. It's a very dangerous road, and I believe that TxDOT is unwilling to put in traffic lights.
Okay, for the next question, we'll begin with Mr. Jaworski. This is the first time since 2012 that Highland Village has contested races. What is different this year?
I think the big difference is there's actually an open seat on the city council this year. Most years you have incumbents that are running for re-election, and Highland Village is such a well-run city that people just don't want to challenge incumbents. Me, for example, I chose the open seat because I'm not one that's going to let ambition make me run for office, so I didn't see the need to challenge somebody. But when Mr. Kuhn resigned in December and Mr. Robichaud was appointed and said he wasn't going to run for the seat himself, that created an open opportunity. And you know, after being urged by many people in the community to run, I decided to do it. But I think that's the biggest thing. The mayor's race, I can't really speak to it. I think we have a fine mayor, but you know, I'm not going to voice an opinion on why I think that race is contested.
Thank you. Same question, Barbara Fleming.
Well, I remember when we had contested races. I go that far back. Barbara applied for the seat, and she was encouraged by many people to do that. It was an open seat, and it was the first time we've had an open seat just recently. So she's happy to be able to run, to be able to serve the city.
Same question, Mr. Riga.
Contested races are good. We've always had some competition for seats. Lately, the main reason why I'm applying for this position or running for this position is that the person who had the position had a job change and he could no longer serve on the council, so there was an open seat. So I decided that it would be a good move for me. I spent 8 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission. All of the commercial development along 407 was done during our tenure. Michelle Schwartz was on the P&Z, and Charlotte Wilcox was also there at the time. And I've spent so much time volunteering for the city. I want to continue to help her. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Sara Wilcox.
Well, I'm not real sure. Let me ask my opponent. Why would you want to file for the mayor? So I'm going to go back to my opening statement real quick and let you know that I've been involved in the Highland Village government affairs since 2006 on planning and zoning, elected 2009, has served on city council. From that point, I was elected deputy mayor pro tem, appointed mayor in 2014, and elected mayor in 2015. And my platform back in 2009 was to be approachable, accountable, and accessible, and it hasn't changed. So, and the reason we have, I think, an election is because we have an open seat.
Thank you. Well, the next question will begin with Barbara Fleming. That is, what are the biggest issues facing Highland Village? Sorry? Okay, well, Mr. Riga, would you want to start that? What are the biggest issues facing Highland Village?
I feel that the largest issues facing Highland Village at the moment would be maintaining the infrastructure of the city, safety on 2499, development of the commercial tracks along 35 with the upcoming project regarding transportation-oriented businesses, and maintaining services for the seniors and maintaining services for the youth. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go, is she ready now? Oh, okay.
As things are happening in Highland Village, the main improvements in the infrastructure, water lines, which you've probably seen along the streets, street improvements, the fire task force, tree ordinance review, as well as other things, the development of Congress Park when TxDOT finishes with the construction. Each concern needs to be thoroughly researched and evaluated based on input from the city as well as from the city staff. So immediate and long-term results will both be affected by decisions made in these areas.
Thank you. Now we would go to Charlotte Wilcox for that.
Okay, well, I think that the biggest issue we're facing, there's a couple of them, transitioning from our growth period to our maintenance mode while maintaining our tax rate and keeping our quality community of choice is number one. And number two, transportation. Transportation on our road constructions on our city streets and also on I-35. We have those to address, so.
All right,
And
Sam.
I'm Pollyanna, so I don't really think we have problems in Highland Village. That's flower mouth. Say that for now.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Same question. Same question. Dan Jaworski.
Come on, guys, let's go.
I'm hoping that was an inside joke. Challenges facing the community. I think everybody said really good points. Highland Village citizens have come to expect and appreciate a certain level of service, whether it be with roads, water, sewage, the parks and trail system, EMS and police response times. These are things we all gotten used to the city doing really, really well. As we move into a mode of where the city is built out and it's a maintenance mode type of environment, that also means that property tax revenue and sales tax revenue maybe won't change too much, which as the city moves, as the city gets older, providing those services and within those budgetary constraints becomes more challenging. Another big challenge, I think, in the coming decade is going to be a lot of roads in the city are going to need to be fixed or rebuilt. That's going to cost several $1 million. So figuring out how to do that in a responsible, fiscally responsible way and do it well, I think is going to be a challenge that the city council is going to have to face. So, it's a great city, but like every other city, there are certainly challenges.
Thank you, Mr. Jaworski. For the next question, we will begin with Mr. Riga. The question is, how do you describe your leadership style and how do you handle stressful situations?
My leadership style basically is including everybody in a decision that you make. It's finding consensus and getting the most out of you, possible out of the people that you work with. Handling stress, I probably one of the most stressful people. I just cope with it, and I don't really have a problem with stress. Thanks.
Thank you. Same question, Charlotte Wilcox.
Thank you, Bob. My leadership style is I am one of 7, and when we come together, we may not all agree, but we respectfully disagree. That's a requirement that I have on council. And as far as the community, I am an ambassador for Highland Village. I believe in if you have an issue or a concern or just a comment, we're going to meet face to face and we're going to address that. I think that's that's always my goal. So, and then stress, you really want me to, we've got people here that can arrest me. I don't do well, I don't like stress, and this is an extremely stressful situation. I don't do well with this. I sell real estate and I'm a Grammy and I like one-on-one communication, so sitting up here in a crowd like this is extremely stressful, but I think I'm doing okay, right?
You are, yeah.
Thank you.
Same question, Dan Jaworski.
In terms of leadership style, I like to consider myself a bit of a collaborative leader. I believe that leadership is having a vision and then being able to convince people to follow the vision and then let them go to execute the vision the best way they know how. In terms of stress, we're all given gifts by God. One of the ones I'm most proud of is I don't get stressed out. Whether it was when I was a quarterback at Marcus in 1988, leading a fourth quarter drive to beat Louisville for the first time. Or when I was in the military as a linguist and an analyst in the Navy, providing direct support to reconnaissance flights that were, being targeted by targeted countries, and lives were at stake and having to make quick decisions. You just do your job. You fall back on your training. When my son was born, he had to have emergency surgery. He was in one hospital, my wife was in the other. I was with him, having to make very quick decisions about what kind of surgery he needed to keep him alive. Required a cool head. And I think that's the thing, if you ask people that know me best, that's what they'll tell you, is I have a really cool head.
Thank you. Same question for Barbara Fleming.
Barbara's style is to be listening and inclusive, using respect and listening for their opinions. She laughs a lot, and she didn't write this down, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I've got the microphone. I work with Barbara in a number of different capacities in volunteer work, and I have always found her to be very respectful as to stress, and we do have some of those stressful situations, and we are not paid, which is even worse. We're volunteers. Barbara is always thoughtful, and she's always inclusive when we deal with people. She is a can-do person, and nothing escapes her attention. She just quietly goes about and gets the job done.
Thank you. And now this will probably be the last question before closing statements, and we'll begin again with Charlotte Wilcox. This is in the shops at Highland Village. It's hard to park near the store if you want to visit. Is there any commercial limitations on that?
We believe in walking in healthy city. I'm sorry that you have to walk, but it's good that you are going to the shops, and we appreciate each and everybody going to the shops and shopping, but, and we get that all the time, but no, there is no commercial, anything planned for commercial parking. We just encourage everybody to get out and walk to the shops.
Very good, and Mr. George.
As part of being on planning and zoning, we had to approve the plan that they just finished working on here recently, where they expanded some of the common areas in the shops. So they've gone a long way to try to make it a family-friendly, come and visit and stay a while environment, and I'm really grateful for that. And I think it matches our community really well. We have a very extensive trail system in Highland Village, as you well know. So the city does encourage people to get out and be active. And I think the shops, in the sense that they didn't create a whole lot of parking places, they do expect you to walk from shop to shop. I think that kind of mirrors the city's image with the parks and trail system.
Thank you. Same question, Barbara Fleming.
The shops at Highland Village are very well utilized, and many people go there on a frequent basis. I would like to point out to you that the same setup exists at South Lake, and it's a very popular place and a very high quality place. The shops are getting ready to have the second art festival, which will be May 7th. Please come out and see it and judge for yourself. But I'm thrilled personally to know that we have a parking situation that exists, that there are so many people that want to come.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Regan.
When the Shops at Highland Village project was originated, the rationale was we're going to make it look like a small town, and all small towns have just little shops and little parking spaces, and the major parking was going to be on the peripheral of the project. So that's what everybody wanted at the time, and parking will always be a problem no matter where you go. And I guess, for the lack of a better term, we just have to live with it. Thank you.
All right, what we'll have now is the 2-minute closings, and we begin at the opposite end. So, Mr. Rieger, if you would start.
I'm not going to take 2 minutes to close. I am who I am. I guess what you get is what you see. I give everybody at least 120% of my time and my effort in anything that I do. I hope to win this seat. If I don't win it, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But I feel as if that Highland Village will be at a loss if I'm not elected. Thank you.
A very confident closer. And Barbara Fleming, your 2-minute close.
Well, Barbara has proven over and over through the variety of things that she's done through her years here in this community that she is a proven and mature leader. We have an exceptionally award-winning city that offers a great quality of life for its residents. The quality is not only attributed to the elected officials, but the work of a top-notch professional staff. I, as many others who have been the recipient of this hard work, of these others in the past, want to say thank you and the wish to continue that work forward in those same footsteps. Last month, the mayor and I were the only candidates attending the 6-month review of the city relating to issues and long-term planning. I will work diligently to preserve and further continue this quality of life for all. As a homeowner, and I would like to stress a homeowner that's very involved, and a resident for the past 37 years, it's time to serve, to pay back, and to pay it forward. Being retired, I can devote full-time service to this city and look forward to being able to do so. I ask for your vote on May the 7th, and you have my commitment that we will keep our city a prime location to live, play, and shop for citizens now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Jaworski, your 2-minute close.
Thank you again to 9 Social, Flower Mound Area Republican Club, and to Mr. Weir for moderating and hosting the event. You know, most years we don't get to vote for those who represent us on City Council in Highland Village, so that makes this election very, very important. So I encourage everybody to investigate the candidates, get to know us, and then on May 7th, make sure you go vote. Make your choice heard. As I said earlier, I spent a year on the Zoning Board of Adjustment and the past 2 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as the last 5 months on the city's Fire Department Service Center Task Force. Additionally, I served 8 years in the United States Navy as a linguist and an intelligence analyst, and I currently work in cybersecurity for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. I have a bachelor's degree in business management and a master's degree in strategic leadership. Finally, I've been a coach in the Neighborhood Sports Flag Football League right here in Highland Village for 4 years, where I've tried to teach the values of community, commitment, friendship, and service to a group of boys who will be the future of communities like Highland Village. Those values are Highland Village values. They're the values this community raised me on, and the values that brought me back to Highland Village. I want to serve on the City Council because of what this community gave me as a child. There is no more special place than the city of Highland Village. I'm an example of that. I'm a son of Highland Village. And because of that, I consider myself one of the most fortunate people in the world. So I'm running for City Council Place 4 because I want to give something back to the community that gave me so much. To repay that debt, I need your vote. So I'm asking you to join my campaign, and together we can make sure that Highland Village is always that special place that we've all come to know and love.
Thank you, Mr. Jaworski.
I'm going to read it this time so I don't lose time. I'm always asked why I want to be the mayor or why I want to run for the mayor, and the answer is simple. I love Highland Village. And while I don't like to talk about myself, I never get tired about talking about what Highland Village has to offer. I love the shopping, the parks, the trails, our outdoor festivals, our sense of community, the shopping. Oh, I think I said that already. I love Highland Village received an A after a year-long study by the Dallas Morning News on transparency in government. I love the fact that we have a community policing model that contributes to our low crime rate and a fire department that works to keep our citizens healthy and safe. I love that we have a reliable water system that will last us into our future, and parks and recreation programs that enhance the quality of life, and of course our trail system that connects our entire community. I love that past councils and staff over the past 50 years plus have made it a priority to live within our means, resulting in a AA+ bond rating. Highland Village allowed us to raise our family in a safe community that offered the live, work, play model, and I love that I can give back to my community now by volunteering my time and energy to ensure that it stays that way. I take my responsibility as mayor very seriously. Before I make any decision on council, I always ask myself, how will our residents benefit from the decision? Past and current councils have worked hard to make Highland Village a destination point, a community that our residents are proud to call home and where they have everything they could ever need or want. I believe we have done well with taxpayers' dollars. Since we are almost at build-out, it's even more important to be responsible with the taxpayers' money, be transparent on how the money is spent, and I have great respect for the citizens, and I'm always conscientious of how we spend our taxpayers' dollars. I want to continue my service as mayor in Highland Village. Like I said, it's simple. I love Highland Village. I love the people of Highland Village, and I love that Highland Village is the quality community of choice. And for that, I would like to continue to be the ambassador for Highland Village, so I'm asking for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.